Welcome to the Neophyte in the Woods podcast with Andrew McDowell.
Hey everyone, Andrew from Neophyte In The Woods here. We have a short solo episode this week while we get a couple other episodes in the hopper. I wanted to follow up on something I made reference to on Twitter recently about my turkey season. To backtrack, I've only gotten out a couple of times, unfortunately. The season ended on Saturday the 26th of May. I had a great time, learned a lot, went out to Western Mass with a friend of mine from Twitter. Had some great results. You can hear about those on the episode from a couple of weeks ago. But I wanted to close the loop on the season. I didn't bag a bird this year, much to my chagrin, but it wasn't for lack of chances, and that's actually what I want to talk about here today. This episode's going to be substantially shorter than most of the other ones just because I'm trying to get a couple of other episodes that I can right now. So the season, I think, was a failure from the sense that I didn't bring any game home, but a success in that I've definitely learned a lot. I have a lot more confidence in my calling, a lot more confidence in my techniques and my scouting, and that's part of what I've been really looking for. You know, as somebody who's still new to hunting, as somebody who's new to turkey hunting. Last year, I don't even really count it a season. I went out once by myself on the opener and sat in the woods, which was nice, but didn't really hear anything or call anything in. So really, I've been turkey hunting. This is my third full season going out, a couple of times to chase gobblers. And my first year, I had a box call, and it worked great. It sounded great. Didn't get anything in. The next year, I dialed in my approach a little bit more. That was the year that my wife was pregnant and was due basically any day. When turkey season was going on. So I only got out the once, but I had some stuff clucking back at me and had a little bit more interaction. And then this year, Western Mass trip, we got frankly screwed by other hunters, kind of blowing up our spot a little bit. And then there was last Saturday, the 26th. So I have a friend down in Rhode Island, Adam, who grew up hunting deer in the South. Went into the Army, got out, and hasn't really done much in terms of hunting since then. And he and I had been talking about doing something fun or something different, or, kind of having a stereotypical man's weekend. So he and I decided that turkey hunting was going to be a great opportunity. We were joined by another friend of mine who I call Kay because of his job. And he joined us on that Saturday morning hunt. We got to the spot, the property that we have access to, which is, as I said before, a local club. It has about 160 acres of wood, all bounded in on all sides by either a tertiary road or houses or housing development. So it's really compact. I think one of the things that we struggle with turkey hunting on this property is with all the houses, all having gardens this time of year and putting down grass seed and all of that, a lot of the turkeys spend time in the yards instead of the woods. So you really have to get on them and get in their way to successfully bag them. And for my sins, I haven't been able to do that yet. So we go out and Adam doesn't have a ton of turkey gear. He has his camouflage that he was issued in the Army. It happens to work really well in the woods of the Northeast. It's that kind of tricolor green that you think of in kind of a traditional, 80s, 90s, early 2000s Army uniform. But other than that, he doesn't have a ton of gear. Kay's kitted out because he's a bit of a geardo like I am. So I loan Adam one of my vests and my shotgun. And that's going to become relevant in a little while. We get an early start of it. We're in the woods by about 4:30 in the morning. We set up between a large field where there's strutting in the past, over by where Kay shot his deer in last fall during turkey season. And we sit down and we wait. And I hear clucking and I hear gobbling, and I'm feeling good. We'd set out my spread from Sentinel decoys, or even my Beaver Creek game calls to try to get something in. And we sit there and we sit there and we sit there, and we hear clucking and gradually gobbling getting closer. And then we're sitting there. I'd stand up to go to the bathroom at one point. This is like 3 hours in. And I came back and I sat down, and suddenly from behind us I hear, "Hello? Hello? There is a man here." We stand up and we look around, and there's another hunter who I assume is a club member. Otherwise he was trespassing, and I don't want to get into that. But he was walking literally through the western end of our decoy spread, kind of trying to figure out what was going on, instead of, in my opinion, kind of doing the right thing, which is seeing some decoys and then backing out and moving away. But either way, that spot got blown up. Woods went silent. We decided to parallel a wall, cut back towards our rigs, and go to the other side of the property where I traditionally hunt. The problem with the side of the property is it's a little bit of a hellhole. There's a lot of blackberry bushes, which is great in July and August when you can go blackberry picking, and it's great cover for deer and game. So we figured it was a good opportunity to do a little bit of run and gun, take a hike through the woods. We do that. We make our way through it. It takes about an hour to get over towards where I wanted to go, going really slow, calling every 10 to 15 minutes. We definitely took our time and avoided the best of the thick stuff as best we could, because who really wants to get scratched up in the early spring? So we get over to one of the logging roads and start to head up. And I'm walking, and I think I hear a gobble kind of off to the northeast of us. So I stop, I call, definitely am hearing gobbles. So I go, okay. Go up on the logging road. It's coming up from the east. It's getting a little bit louder. Go set up behind trees, get comfy, get low, get safe, and look kind of eastward for a gobbler or a jake to come your way. I then, I set Adam down, get him situated, give him his field of fire. Keltar's doing his thing about 20 yards away, and I move about 20 to 30 yards behind them, sit down with my back up against a tree, pull up my water bottle to hydrate, because a hydrated cell is a happy cell, and I start to call. I have my back up against a large kind of oak tree, really comfortable. It's definitely a spot I'm going to try to put up a camera, because I noticed some deer trailing through there. And I call, and I hear the gobble, and I hear some clucks, and I start to have a little conversation with the hen, seeing if I can't get her to come over and help attract that gobbler that was over off to the northeast of us. And I sit there for a while, cluck, 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 yelp, etc. And then that goes on for about an hour, and we're sitting there, and we're sitting. And then I take a sip of my water, put it down, and then start to look up, and out of the corner of my eye, off to the left of me, I see a black kind of blob moving through the woods, and I freeze. And it's a turkey. Specifically, it's a jake. He had a little nubbin of a beard, didn't have that full gobbler look. I'm also somewhat confident that he was a jake, in that he was pretty dumb. I mean, I was not sitting stock still. I was not in a particularly good position, but evidently my camouflage worked enough that he had no problems coming to me. He starts picking his way up along this game trail, and I'm seeing him come by. And Adam has my shotgun, and he's facing completely the wrong direction. He can't even see me. Keltar, I can kind of see him up over the ridge, but he's facing the wrong direction. And obviously, this bird coming up right on my left is really not a target to shoot at, and I didn't want to get into it. So my mind starts whirling. Like, how can I get this bird? How can I get them to take a shot? This bird is gonna either see me or see Kay in a second, and we'll be busted. So I'm a big guy. I never really played much football, but I know how to move when I need to move. So I started gathering myself up, and I get about to a crouch, and I'm just about to launch myself headlong at the turkey to try to grab it and give one across its throat with the knife that I always carry in my pocket, when it stops and looks at me and gives me an oh shit, and then putts, and then just takes off hauling through the woods. I figured he would take off and fly, but for whatever reason he didn't. He just started running, and he ran into the thickest of the thick stuff. And we did our best to get him out, but try as we might, he just hunkered down. I think we passed him, as we were trying to push through the stuff, and he kind of held like a pheasant, and frankly, he outsmarted us, and that was pretty much it. By this time, it was 11 o'clock, and it was time for us to start heading back to our cars, because you can't hunt past noon in the spring turkey season. So that was a really interesting experience that I had in an ideal circumstance. So I think the moral of this one is, don't hunt turkeys without a shotgun, because you're not going to be able to tackle one unless you shoot it in the head first. Ironically, there's a local gun store not far from me that I like a lot, and they had a couple of really inexpensive single shot 12 gauge shotguns with fixed modified chokes in them for like $100. And on Friday, I was thinking about, I can just go grab one just in case. I'm probably not going to see anything. Why not spend the $100 and have a shotgun that I can have as a backup, but also if I take somebody out, when I teach them how to shoot a shotgun, I can demonstrate proper behavior and how to shoot, and they can have one in their hands too, make it a little bit more fun. Or if you're like my brothers or some of my other friends who are mindlessly competitive but don't really know how to shoot, you can make it a little bit of a competition, show off how good you are at shooting a shotgun, and help them learn, which is always fun. However, I didn't do that. I instead went to a place called Jerry's Bait and Tackle out here, and ended up getting my bow set up, which is the other thing I want to talk about today. Special thanks to Average Hunter for running the annual St. Jude's raffle where I got this bow. I took it to Jerry's, and I got it all set up, and I've been shooting the snot out of it and having a great time with archery. Really opened my eyes, the podcast we did with Jason a couple of months ago, talking about introduction to archery and all of that. So if you're interested in the sport, you want another way to hunt, you want another way to extend your season. For me, it extends my deer season by about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on if they pass in Massachusetts a regulation that extends the deer season earlier, 2 weeks in my management district. So definitely give that episode a look if you're interested in archery, want to know where to start. It certainly was a big help to me, and I'm still not going to say I'm proficient, but I'm enjoying the hell out of starting archery. And I can't say enough good things about Jason's advice on that episode, Jerry's Bait and Tackle, and the bow that I picked up, the Mission Craze 2. Very flexible, very forgiving, not the most feature-rich bow, but for a beginner and somebody who is planning on going up and has a wife who's interested in archery, and hopefully one day a daughter who's interested in hunting and archery, having the flexibility that particular bow offers is a great benefit. It's easy to adjust the draw length. It's easy to address the draw weight. It's very forgiving with putting on attachments and kind of the simple mistakes, the stupid mistakes, and the bad form that a beginning archer like myself makes with regularity. So I'd strongly recommend checking that out if you don't have $1,000 to spend on a high-end Matthews bow or one of the other brands out there. So we'll keep it short and straight like that tonight. We are always looking for guests. If you want to come on, if you want to talk about any topic out there, from trap to practical shooting to fishing, I'd love to do some shows about fishing coming up. It's the height of bass season up here in the Northeast. Things are really starting to get good. The topwater bite is coming. If you want to talk about fly fishing, if you want to talk about wilderness survival, if you want to talk about cooking, let's talk about cooking. It's barbecue season. Reach out to me on Twitter, or send me an email, or find me on Facebook, or reach out to Bennett and Eddie and have them put you in touch with me. Would love to have you on. This is more fun when I can talk to new people and talk to people other than myself about topics. So please reach out. With summer coming on, we'd love to broaden our reach and broaden our topics. Thanks very much. We look forward to working and talking with you again. Hey everyone, it's Andrew from Neophyte In The Woods. Just popping in real quick, wanting to do a quick kind of bumper out here. We here at Neophyte In The Woods and the Change Your POV Network do this all out of the goodness of our hearts. We legitimately love and are passionate about the subjects about which we speak. However, that doesn't mean that we're not absorbing some costs. And one of the ways we're trying to address the overhead costs associated with putting out these podcasts is to do Patreon. And you can find a link to it right down at the bottom in the kind of the episode show notes on our website. If you could donate anything that you're able to support us and help us get this content coming out to you, it would be very much appreciated. There are tiers of membership from $1 all the way up to 10, and you can donate more than that. For our backers, our Patreon patrons, we do offer some unique content. We've been doing weekly shows where we do a live stream and we talk about a quote on Mondays. It's normally right around 8 p.m. Eastern. There's also some other cool rewards, including the level at which I back at $10 a month. You can actually get, believe it or not, a signed autographed picture of our fearless leaders, Bennett and Eddie. It really changed my life. It sits actually right up above the computer where I record all this stuff. I take it with me when I go hunting. I take it with me when I go fishing. I take it with me when I go to work. It goes everywhere with me. Some people have an EDC pocket knife. I have an EDC picture of Bennett and Eddie. I would really strongly suggest you back us and keep the good work that we're doing coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Thanks for leaving us reviews on iTunes. And we'll talk to you next week.